India and France are set to sign a rupees 63,000 crore deal for 26 Rafale Marine combat aircraft. The report also claimed officials from the Indian Defence Ministry and the French ambassador to India will represent the two sides at the signing event. The 26 Rafale Marine fighter jets are urgently required for deployment on the Indian aircraft carriers, particularly the INS Vikrant, which is now in service. The Rafale M jets will be customized to meet Indian requirements and will be integrated into the INS Vikrant. These carrier-borne fighters are being acquired as a stopgap solution until the development of an indigenous carrier-borne fighter jet is completed. And joining me from New Delhi is my colleague Akshay Dongre. Akshay, tell us more about this high-level meeting that took place in New Delhi.
Well, this is a meeting to finalize the purchase of the 26 Rafale Ms, a much-needed naval variant of the Rafale that has been created by Dassault, an aviation giant from France. And the reason for the acquisition of Rafale Ms and how it is going to be a force multiplier by the Indian Navy, or rather for the Indian Navy, is quite simple. We have been using the MiG-29Ks for several decades now for our aircraft-based operations. Now India has two aircraft carriers, the INS Vikrant and INS Vikramaditya, and the aircraft that are being used from the decks of these aircraft carriers are still the same MiG-29Ks. And while India is developing its own advanced variant of the naval-based aircraft that is called TED-BF, it's going to take a lot of time for those aircraft to actually start rolling into the service, and that perhaps is the reason why Rafale M fits this gap that is going to take about 10 to 15 years for the TED-BF to come into service and provide the Indian Navy with much needed firepower as far as sea-based operations are concerned. MiG-29Ks are also quite old fighters and now will be phased out eventually. However, to continue operating the aircraft carrier without advanced aircraft would be meaning leaving them actually vulnerable in seas as far as operations are concerned. And to fill this gap before the TED-BFs and the Indian variants of naval aircraft actually start to roll in, Rafale M are going to provide precision. They are going to provide much more firepower to the aircraft aircraft carriers than they already have at this point in time, that can be used not only for monitoring and ground to or air attacks, but also naval attacks as far as any kind of eventuality is concerned. Back to you.
One quick question before we let you go, Akshay. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh, we believe and we are reporting, has met with the Prime Minister. What more can you tell us on this meeting?
Well, Ramesh, yes, there was a meeting of about 40 minutes at the residence of Prime Minister Narendra Modi at 7 Lokalyan Marg, where Rajnath Singh had gone there and held a meeting. Now, there are several issues that have to be updated to the Prime Minister. One of them is obviously the build-up and the preparations that are going on to provide security, not just in Jammu and Kashmir, but in all the areas that have borders with Pakistan. So that is one issue. That is one issue that had to be updated to the Prime Minister. Yesterday, the CDS held a meeting with the Raksha Mantri, the Defence Minister of India, and all the preparations that are going on by the Indian Navy, by the Indian Air Force or the Indian Army, they were all updated to the Defence Minister. Everything is being planned as far as security operations are concerned, and all of this is also regularly being briefed to the Prime Minister by the Defence Minister himself, and that was the reason why this meeting took place. But also, sources are telling us that the Rafale deal was also mentioned. And today, we're expecting that in a couple of hours, we'll get an official word from the ministry about the purchase that is likely to take place in the next few hours.
All right, I will leave it there. Akshay, thank you. Akshay Dongre reporting there from New Delhi.